all my grandkids come round. Well, I say all of them, all apart from 2. Yeah, so I got to see almost all of my grandkids this year. They all come up, give a big kiss and cuddles. It was such a shame because I wasn't feeling too well on Christmas Day when they actually come round, so they could only spend a couple of minutes up with me, which, you know, it is what it is. On the plus side, I got to see them all, so. Yeah, it was the only plus to it. Yeah, I get you. Well, Christmas is for kids these days, I guess. We don't seem to matter anymore. I think I should get the most presents under the tree. I think I deserve more. You talk to my grandkids though, then it's a different story. It's like, no, we deserve more. Maybe you should get a job and buy them. You should see the look on their face. Oh, you're always saying that. Well, when are you going to listen and get a job then? Actually, I feel sorry for their generation. You know, I hear a lot of people that are constantly like slating off this generation, saying that they're just too entitled. They won't go and do this. They won't go and do that. And yet, like, speaking from my kids, like, they're such hard workers, and the hours they have to work, the conditions they have to work under, it's ridiculous. And when I see people like older than me, they turn around and say, "Oh, you know, you got it so good. You should have tried being it when I was doing it and whatever else." And it's like, well, the problem is that when you were doing it, when you got paid money, that money was so much more worth it. You could buy stuff with it. Just because they earn X amount doesn't mean to say that the X amount is actually worth what they've been doing. And I don't know. I always want a present under the tree, but then I look at my house and I see all the junk I've accumulated over the years, and I immediately tell anybody. Yeah, exactly. See, I don't tell them I don't want anything or need anything, because there is always something I want. And there's like, especially with the figures and stuff, you know, I actually got a little Amazon list that they go and look at, because I don't need anything expensive. You know, like, these days I'm more interested in getting something that's going to keep me occupied. You know, something that's just going to keep my brain active, and just, you know, something fun to do, more than just, you know, all this big shiny thing or whatever. Yeah. I feel, yeah, exactly. Give me consumables, liquor, food, special snacks, something that won't be here in 5 years. Yeah, well, the problem is that, you know, I can't drink, and I'm on a diet, so I can't eat anything nice. Um, so like, this is why I've gone in for collectibles and stuff. But the problem is that I'm just bursting out of rooms everywhere. You know, I literally just do not have the space for anything. And then the problem is that everyone's like saying, "Well, just get rid of it, just sell some stuff." And it's like, yeah, I'll sell you before I get rid of that. All right. And then I get called a hoarder, and I said, "Look, do you see me collecting jars of urine? No, that's a hoarder. These are valuable collectibles, which have taken me a long time to get. And one day, I always use the word could be yours." Gives Mark a case of bottled water. Yeah, exactly. And I always use the thing of they could be yours. Because my plan is, if the doctor ever gives me bad news, I'll be like, "Okay, doc, no worries. I'm going to go straight out and I'm going to sell everything I own, and I'm just going to go and have the time of my life. I am. I'm going to do all the things that I couldn't, wouldn't, and shouldn't have done when you're a perfectly fit and healthy person with a huge, bright future ahead of you. I will leave it up to your imaginations as to what I would do. But believe you me, I would be doing all of it. And then when all the money's all gone and whatever else, I should just sit back and, oh no, I'm so sorry. And it's, I've done you a favour. You don't have to fight over anything now because there is nothing. Bye. Yeah, bungee jumping. Yes, of course. That would be the first thing I do, Pitbull. Well, of course. Oh, I mean, some of the things that I would do might actually make me want to bungee jump. Isn't it funny though that I think that way, and I genuinely do actually think that way. If the time ever come and I got to know it, would I actually go out and do stuff I wouldn't normally do? And it begs the question of why I just don't do it now. Makes you think, I guess. Right, so where are we? Where was I? There. So that goes all the way up into here. Bring that downwards. So what's everybody's bucket list stuff? What would you put on your bucket list of things that you want to do before, the Grim Reaper comes and taps you on the shoulder and says, right, that's it. You've had your fun. Just trying to think of a bucket list thing that I'd love to do. What would I actually really love to do? Wow. Is that a sign of a really good life when you can't think of something, or is it just a sign of a really dull life because you can't think of anything? Christ, I'm actually depressing myself now because I can't think of anything. I like to do. I'm going to look at that as a sign of a good life. That's a hard one. My bucket list always consists of getting married and having kids. Check. Yeah, exactly. I can't think of anything. Like I'm the one that asked the question, and I can't think of bugger all for it. It's not even like I want to visit. Oh, okay. I'd like to go to America, and I'd like to do the usual touristy thing and do the route 66 or whatever it is, Route 69. I'd like to do that in a camper van. But I don't have the money to do any of them. Yeah, innit? Isn't it funny how money just rules everything in your life? Well, it's not funny, really, I suppose, but yeah, like I said, I knew this was gonna not flow as much as what yesterday's one did, but it's definitely looking good. Route 66, that's it, yeah. Yeah, I'd like to do that. I suppose. Yeah, I suppose that's what I'd like to do. Who knows? maybe if I can get over the panic attacks and stuff, maybe I could just make that happen without it being a bucket list kind of thing. From the amount of Americans that I've met, through the years of being online and stuff, I have a feeling, for the most part, I would get on with them more than I do my own countrymen, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, there are quite a few exceptions to that rule. Like, I've made some really good friends. I don't know. I suppose because of my back and stuff, I never really considered travelling as to be a thing that I could do or attain. Does that make sense? I mean, there are people that are worse disabled than what I am. They still manage to get all around the world and stuff. I suppose for me, I put the added bonus in there because of being fat, I guess. But I suppose once again, it's probably that little invisible wall that you end up, putting around yourself that you can't climb over because you put it there. Fly a P-51, jump a car over something, drive a race car in a race. Bang Pamela Anderson 20 years ago. That kind of thing. I mean, it's all very specific there, Mr. Pitbull. It's nice to have a dream. Who would you most like to have a dinner date with? Doesn't have to be a romantic one. Just like, who would you like to go and have dinner with? Like, dead or alive? I mean, obviously, when they're having dinner, they're going to be alive, no matter who they are. No, she's not as hot nowadays. But she's still the same kind-hearted person inside, Pitbull, and that's what you should be falling for. Might just carry on with this 19. Even though I'm breaking my own rule about wanting to do the light colours before I do the dark ones. But sometimes you just got to throw the rule book out the window. Does it have to be dinner? Could it just be like hang out with for a couple? Yeah, go on in, hang out with for a couple of hours. Bruce Lee would love to sit down for a chat with a couple of hours with him. Wouldn't want to eat around him. Would be too self-conscious. Yeah. I don't know who I would like to, who I'd like to have dinner with. Let's think about that seriously for a minute. Who would you like to have dinner with and why? Actually, you know what? I'd like to have dinner with Edison and Nikola Tesla. There you go. Yeah, at the same time. We just want to see a fight, don't you? Well, no, they're not allowed to because they're there at my behest. So, you know, they've got to behave themselves. Or I'll send them back to the never never, you know? Just to know what it was that he invented or they invented between them or whatever else that was so shocking to the world that it had to get sealed up and never get opened. See, the thing is, my curiosities run wild about that kind of stuff, you know? And it's like, I could be told stuff, right, about the world and about what's happened and whatever else, and I wouldn't say anything. I genuinely wouldn't say anything. I just have that curiosity to just want to know. But then you say that you could sit there and hear it, but could you sit there and hear it without telling anybody else? I believe I could. If you could visit any time period, what time period would you like to visit? Because if you was to turn around and say, like, you'd like to go back and see the dawn of man and whatever else, well, how boring would that be? There's nothing to do. You can't even go to have a cup of coffee while you're waiting. You know? And I'm sorry, but I feel like I know enough about the future, right, based on our past, that I don't want to go there and have a look. Because I have a feeling I know what's going to happen. Industrial Revolution, 1940s. Wow. Yeah, I suppose that would be an interesting place to go. Who would you like to talk to in that era? Is there a particular person, like Henry Ford, maybe, or? Items I would want to know. The definitive answers are: aliens real? Did the water power car really exist? Exactly how and why JFK was killed, and what really happened to Amelia Earhart? Well, if you ask me, JFK was killed because he was obviously put into place by people that wanted him there because they thought he was malleable. He obviously went off the rails, went off book, and they said, like, nah, we got to get rid of him. I think it is no more than that. Genuinely. He upset the wrong people, did the wrong things, and that's why he got it. Hey, Xenomorph, how you doing, darling? Lovely to see you in here. How are you? I'm doing okay. I'm having a good time tonight. Doing a bit of painting, just sitting here, just getting to know people a bit more. It's that guy. It is. Mr. Burst Bear, it is. It's Donald the Chonkington. He's here. Rob Brunel, to be fair. Really? Brunel? Dinner word. I'd have to Fred. To be Fred, don't I? Here's the thing. Would anybody actually like to sit down with a murderer, like Jack the Ripper or Ted Bundy or whatever else? Would anybody does anybody have any kind of inkling of like wanting to know actually what goes on in their mind on a one-on-one basis? Not these interviews and stuff that they give, which are probably toned down and whatever else. Would anybody actually like to get into the mind of a killer? Not for tips or anything, of course, I mean, the actual operation, who was behind it, who ordered it, actually who pulled the trigger. Was there anybody standing? I mean, full explanation, step by step, start to finish. I wouldn't want them to spare the gooey details. Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't. Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I want to know. I want to know why. See, the thing is that they're kind of postulating now that he was actually killed by somebody that was actually in the car, from what I understand. But how have you been, Xenomorph? I watch Explore With Us on YouTube, and it shows you the interrogation interview the police do with the suspects, and it explains all the characteristics and what body language can tell you. Yeah, I've been watching a few of them just recently. It kind of got me to thinking about something. Everybody knows the killer, but nobody really knows the cop or the establishment or wherever it was that caught them. No one really knows their name. A select few people do, obviously, but it's not like it's as televised. I don't want to use the word televised, but it's not so popular as the actual murderer themselves. It's kind of a scary thing, really, when you think about it, that they kind of almost popularise that person, but then make it seem like you become infamous. Like, a lot of people worry about legacies, right, and what they're going to leave behind and stuff. Everyone's like just afraid of just dying and then nobody ever remembering it. But what better way to get people to remember you than that? But is that a good enough reason to be remembered? Several members in the car sustained injuries as well. Almost all of them were shot. Do government conspiracies ever get officially released? Once everyone involved was dead and gone. Yeah, that's how we're going to find out who Jack the Ripper was, for definite. I think that's coming up really soon. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of a scary thought to me, to be honest with you, to think that you're remembered for doing such heinous and awful acts against another human being. And that's how you're going to be remembered throughout time, especially if you've done it to enough people where you become prolific and you're all over the news and whatever. Then you're literally immortalized. And what a scary thing to do. Especially for somebody who wants to be immortalized for whatever reason, just wants to go down in history. And we allow that to happen. It's not their fault. I mean, it's their fault what they do. Don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid. But, it's like we immortalize them. And what does that show to anybody? You know, like this is the easiest and biggest way, quickest way to get immortalized. You look at people like Winston Churchill and stuff and what he's done in his past, supposedly or non-supposedly. I use that because I don't know myself. I've not bothered to research it and whatever, so don't shoot the messenger. But, you know, he's literally being deleted from history and monuments taken down and stuff. But, you know, no one's getting rid of the murderers. You know, do you know what I mean? Jack the Ripper. Yes, of course he was. Yeah, he is a member of the royal family, and they're waiting for the descendants of anybody who could be culpable to die off before they tell us. Now, I'm sorry, this is what makes me laugh. It is literally just one rule for them and one rule for us, and it is them and us. It genuinely is them and us. I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says. That is exactly the way it is, and that's the way it will always be. Probably why everybody's building bunkers now, because they're beginning to realise that, you know, they're pushing the human race too far and too hard, and there's going to be recompense for it. Someone somewhere is going to say, nah, that's enough. But to answer what I've been up to, took part in my first ever D&D campaign last night. Had to work today, so not much. How was your D&D thing going? I've not done one. It's always interested me. I've never done one. But it has always been something I've been kind of interested in doing. It's like, and I'm trying not to get cancelled or whatever, but you know, people that owned certain properties, that had certain people visit those properties, you know, and now that certain lists are becoming knowledge, and then finding out that no matter who's on the list now, that they're going to face no kind of inquiry or anything. It's like, yeah, well, I did it, but you ain't going to do anything to me. It's like, it's ridiculous. What's this? But wait, what? What did I miss here? Same, I've just never had the opportunity, but it was being held by Blues Anti on the service, so it was a few of us. Oh, really? Oh my god, maybe next time I might be able to get in on that myself. That would be cool. I'd be well up for that. Yeah, I'd like to give that a try. Same, I've just never had the opportunity. Oh, I'll have to message her about that and see when she's going to do the next one, or whoever it is that's doing it. I'd like to get involved in just one, just to see whether or not I like it, you know? Be kind of funny doing one. You used to work with Blake. She's lovely, isn't she? Honestly, what's and she doesn't take herself too seriously. That's what I love about her so much. And she's got such a lovely personality. I like the fact that she can take a joke. I love the fact that most of the time she's the one that's insinuating the jokes, which is really nice these days. I just got so much time for her. I think she's great. I really do. I genuinely do. My absolute love for her is off the record. I miss seeing her every day. Yeah, it's a shame. I don't know, is she just busy or whatever? I know she doesn't stream as much as you. You used to do D&D all the time, but always face to face and with a pencil and paper. As a matter of fact, I should still have my dice from 20 years ago in the box in the attic. Yeah, I want to be that guy. I want to make my own dice, personalize it myself and all of that. Yeah, I do. I just want to learn all about it because it just seems like so much fun. And the fact that, you know, that you can do anything in there, literally anything your imagination can come up with. It's like I've been waiting desperately until I feel a bit better because I wanted to play. I want to play. What's that game? Biggest game in the bloody world right now. I own it. Baldur's Gate. I want to play that with Jimbo and with Xenon. and I haven't felt well enough to do that. It's been a bit of a pain, to tell you the truth. Loads of stuff I want to do, just don't really have the health to be able to do it. But yeah, I'd like to give it a go to see whether or not it is something that I would like. Do you know, honestly, this stream so far has been so chilled and relaxing for me. It's not even funny. Like, I've genuinely enjoyed doing this tonight. I'm not going anywhere, so don't anybody think I'm going. But I've really been enjoying doing this.